I'm right in the middle of writing a module on this particular topic for my online members club, the Ladies Life Lounge. There are a few ladies that I've worked with over the past few months who are being labelled as being too emotional at work. It seems like expressing emotion has become socially unacceptable, particularly in the workplace, and particularly for women. A lot of that comes down to the types of emotions that are being expressed. If a man loses his rag, he's considered as being just frustrated, and that's a little bit more acceptable. Whereas if a woman does it, it's perceived as being highly strung. I still do a lot of corporate work with both men and women in leadership. I would love to see the emotion and humanity come back into the workplace. We've almost become robotic and generic with our emotions at work, and it doesn't have to be that way. And you can do it without going batshit crazy. You can show you are feeling something in an assertive way. Communicate your emotions without imposing in ways that upset others or display a lack of control. And done well, this can be really, really powerful. So here are my tips for you on how to express your emotions assertively. Tip number 1 is to name the emotion. This sounds really simple, but when I ask women and men that I work with to name it, they find it really hard to do. You need to connect with yourself, and this requires a high degree of self-awareness. What is the physical sensation that you're feeling, and where in your body is it happening? Put a descriptive word to it, whether it's anger, sadness, liberation, elation, etc. Good emotions as well as bad emotions. Learn how to name it, which leads on to tip number 2. Giving a controlled description. Rather than having an outburst, it's about being able to coolly describe that emotion, which is why it's important for you to be able to name it, as in tip 1. This can be tricky because when emotions take over, we lose the ability to be rational. That rational control can very easily disappear when our emotions are high. But when you can describe your emotions, then you demonstrate a really high degree of self-control. And that self-control has a lot of persuasive power. Bringing your emotion to the conversation can be really, really powerful when you can describe it in a controlled way. It means you'll have credibility and influence in the conversation and explain why you're feeling what you're feeling. For example, I'm feeling X about Y because of Z. Top tip number 3 is about body language. The elements of communication are broken down into 3 simple sections: words, tone and body language, 7%, 38 and 55 respectively. So it's important to have congruence in your body language but still remain controlled. If your body language, tone and words don't match, you won't be understood and your point won't be taken seriously. Don't fly off the handle, stand tall, use hand gestures and movement. Top tip number 4 is to be generally expressive all of the time. Being generally expressive all of the time, whether it's positive or negative. Don't just save up being expressive for those combative moments where you need to let your emotions out. Positive emotions can be much more powerful in motivating other people into doing what you want them to do. This also shows that you're balanced in showing both sides of your emotion. If you'd like a bit more information on using the skill of assertiveness, then click on the link below where you can head over onto my website.